Whether you agree or disagree, or it just simply goes over your head, you can still quote me, because that's what I said. Hi, welcome to another episode of Native Talks. This is starting a new section of my broadcast, which is called Old School. And this is where I'm going to be sharing memories of my childhood. You'll be able to see photos, videos, whatever I post that pertains to my growing up, memories that I had. This is the videos that'll show it. Now, I'll still do my other videos where I'll, talk about issues of the day and share other incidents in my life, but this one is strictly dedicated to old school. When I was a kid growing up, I decided to kind of take myself out of it, as far as my face goes, and just kind of concentrate more on the moment, the era, whatever it is that I'm talking about. I'd rather go with that than focusing so much on people looking at me. Okay, as you can see by the background, I am a old school 80s girl. I was a teenager during the 80s, and I want to talk about best friends, because all of us, no matter what, age we are, all of us can remember that one friend that put up with us, did dirt with us. We created so many memories with that one friend. And some friendships like that come to an end at some point, and then some last a lifetime. It just depends on where life takes you, what road you're on. So I'm going to talk about my best friend, Erica. The day I met my best friend, Erica, I was a little older than her. I was like 3 years older than her. And a lot of people, kind of made me feel like there was something wrong with that. Like I was supposed to be her age to be her friend. But we lived in the same housing complex. We didn't at the time go to the same school, of course. But we knew each other through my cousin Gwen. My cousin Gwen met her first. And my cousin Gwen introduced me to her, and we started hanging out. And before I knew it, my cousin Gwen, who I also was close to, we eventually, we was cousins, so we was going to always be close. But my cousin Gwen kind of backed out of the friendship, and then it was just me and Erica. And it's been me and Erica ever since. I mean, we used to go to the movies, we go walking to the malls, to the grocery stores. I mean, I could go on forever. We went to parties. We did a lot of things together. And I remember the first time that I met her, she seemed shy, but she was comfortable around my cousin Gwen, and I think that's what allowed me to feel comfortable talking to her, was that she was already cool with my cousin Gwen. So everything just vibed from there. 2 days after I met her mother. And I remember when I got invited up to her house to meet her mom came down the steps, and I remember her mother had on a purple nightgown, and it was one of them satin nightgowns. And I remember when she came down the steps, I thought I was looking at a movie star. I really did. I had never seen, out of all the friends that I had, and out of all of the mothers that I had seen, I had never seen a mother who looked prettier than her own kid. I mean, Erica's mother was pretty, and I remember asking Erica, was your mom ever a movie star? And Erica kind of looked at me like, what? And I admit I was naive. I was pretty dumb because we all living in the hood. How's she a movie star and we all living in the hood? But she was just somebody that was very, very pretty. She had an elegance about her, and that was just something you didn't see in the hood. So when you saw it, it kind of threw you off. You was like, wow. So, around the time that I met Erica, both of us we had goofy, young, dumb looks on our faces. So this is what Erica looked like when I first met her. In this picture, she was 12 years old, and she was very naive, but she had a bubbliness about her. And one thing I noticed about her, she loved to dress. And back then, those shaker sweaters and those hair clips were the in thing. And Erica had them. She was wearing them all the time. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I was a little older than her when I met her. So, this was me. That's what I look like. Goofy, quirky kind of girl, always had been. But that's what we looked like when we first met. Those are both of our school pictures. And I just remember us doing so many things together. But one thing I picked up on real quick was that Erica, I felt she was prettier than me. And, dudes made it very easy. Boys flocked to Erica. They really did. And I was hardly ever approached. So it was made clear from day one that she was the choice that all of the boys went after. I was never the choice. And, you learn your lane. You stay in your lane. You learn how to deal with it. Erica was my secret keeper. I could tell her anything. She would keep my secrets. I would keep hers. And I remember being, when I first met her, and her brother and her mom, and years down the road when I met her grandmother and her cousins. I mean, everybody was just so good looking in that family. I mean, light-skinned women, pretty hair, light-colored eyes, and she met people in my family, but I remember always kind of being envious of her because it just seemed like she had everything better than me. She had better looks. Her mother was pretty. The people in her family were good looking. She always seemed like she had money, so it was a ill perception on my part because I didn't understand everything that was going on in her life. And I can look back now and see the immaturity that I had in that. So, as the years went by, me and Erica, our friendship became tighter. This is Erica when we reached high school. We had remained friends all through high school. We were best friends. This is her high school picture. I don't have my high school picture. The only picture that I have that kind of shows you what I looked like at that time was my graduation photo. And so this is my graduation photo. But that's what me and Erica looked like, and we were tight as ever. I remember I was getting ready to go away to college. She still had 2 years left before she graduated. So I remember we had been, tied at the hip ever since we had met. And then when I was getting ready to go away to college, it was kind of hard. And our friendship did take a turn that I wasn't really prepared for when I left. I thought we were going to still be tight like we were all through school. But when I went away to college, things changed, and I had to accept that. At first I didn't want to, but I had to accept it because I was a grown woman. She was coming into being a young woman, but she hadn't quite got there yet. And so I had to embrace the life that I was walking into, and my best friend wasn't in that life yet. So it was really hard, but when I came back from college, that's when I seen that we were on a totally different level. Um, our friendship was still tight, but there was something that was different. She had made friends with other girls, and these other girls that she was friends with were a little more street, a little more hood, and I just kind of, that wasn't a crowd that I ever rode with. Now, Erica never was a troublemaker. She never got in trouble, but I think, these girls hung around her because she was pretty and she could pull the dudes. And I think that's the reason why they was hanging out with her. They knew that if they hung around with her, they'd meet the guys. On their own, in their hood behavior, they wouldn't have met nobody. So I think they kind of used her to meet guys. So when I came back from college, like I said, we were still tight, but our friendship was a little different. So here are some pictures that we took when I came home from college. Um, I laugh at this picture because I don't know what I call myself doing. But this picture we took, there was back in the early 90s, phone booth, or shall I say, booth pictures were a big thing. You go to the malls and you would see these booths where you could get in this booth with whoever. You could get in there by yourself, or you can get in there with other people, and you could hold this little remote thing and you could snap photos, and then, and you had to pay for them. You had to put, the money inside the booth, and then once you took your pictures, you step outside the booth and they would print the pictures out. This picture, me and Erica, we took inside of one of those booths. And I think it was something like $3, $3 or $4, and you get something like 4 pictures that would automatically print out. So we did that. This is another one that we took inside that booth. We was always at the mall. That was our second home. We hung out at the mall, shopping, going to the movies, walking around. Most of the time you was walking around the mall just trying to get guys' attention. That's basically what you was there for. And so that we took those 2 pictures there. This picture we actually took in front of my house. Like I said, we lived in an apartment complex. That's my mom's car, and that's the apartment that we lived in behind us. And me and Erica, we weren't sexy or anything like that, but we called ourselves trying to be cute. And my brother took that picture of us standing behind my mother's car. It is so amazing to look back at these pictures because it just brings back so many memories, just so many of them. Me and her, we went through a lot together as well. I won't go into detail on a lot of things because that's her private history and my private history, but our families went through a lot of things, and we were there for each other through those tragic moments. And I think that's where, even when our friendship kind of took a turn and she had made friends with people that I wouldn't necessarily want to be around, those friendships eventually faded, and we came back to being close friends. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I was there for her when she was going through some stuff, and she was there for me when I was going through some stuff. And when you go through hard times like that, you always cling to the people who are there for you. And I think she found out that those friends that she made that weren't there for her, I think she realized early on that they never really was good friends to her, that I was always a good friend. Uh, the last picture that I'm going to show before my final one, this picture we went and had professionally taken. There was this picture place. This was also a thing during the 90s that everybody was doing. Best friends were doing it, couples were doing it, families were doing it. It was a photography place called Olin Mills. And I mean, if you didn't have a picture in your house that was taken at Olin Mills, you were not cool. You had to have a picture in your house that was taken at Olin Mills. And me and Erica, we wanted to, have a picture that we both kept that symbolized our friendship. And this picture has real sentimental value out of all the other ones that I've showed you, because this photo was the last picture I took before Erica got married and moved away. And so our lives literally separated at that point. She married a naval officer and got married, and he was a naval officer, so she pretty much was living on military bases, all over the country. And now she's settled in DC, and she's got 3 kids, 1 kid that graduated from Howard University. She's got 2 younger children. She's still married to her husband. They've been married now for quite a few years. And she's living the life that I know she worked hard to have. I'm very proud of her and the accomplishments. And she's a registered nurse in her career field. So, I mean, she has really impressed me with the type of woman that she has, become. And when, we're living in a time where most people's marriages don't last a hot minute, and she's managed to stay married and in love to the same man, since this picture, since she got married. And so this picture is always sentimental to me because my life went a totally different way than hers. I never married. I never had kids. I dove into the field of working with foster children and mentoring kids, and that's been my calling. I'm a crafty person. I do DIY crafts and things of that nature, and I'd write poetry, and I'm working on my poetry book. So my life kind of veered a totally different way than hers did. She went the married life, I went the single life, but my single life is just me being a woman that has buckled down and worked. I don't do the dating thing. I don't, that just wasn't me. I knew that this world had a lot of abandoned children in it. My mother was in social work, and my mother inspired me to pick up the gauntlet that she dropped. Because when my mother retired, I was already working in the field of foster care, but I felt like when she retired, it was my duty to continue her legacy. And now that my mother has passed on, I know that I'm in the field that I'm supposed to be in. So this picture right here will always have sentimental value because we had been tied at the hip. And even when I went away to college, and our friendship had a little wavering there, we eventually came back and we was tight as ever and was tied at the hip again. But this picture resembles when every friendship comes to a point where you are adults and you have to go your own path. You have to live your life your way. And so this picture will always be sentimental. But one thing I will say is once you have a best friend that has walked through life with you, that is something that never truly ends. It always remains strong. And the reason why I can say that is because this picture was taken in 2017. My best friend, my bestie, my BFF Erica had come into town and we hung out. I had the opportunity to meet her kids. I still have not met her husband, but knowing the type of field he's in, that doesn't surprise me, him being a military man. Hopefully when he retires one day, if he retires, I'll have the pleasure of meeting him. I'm planning a trip to DC because I really want to see what her life is up there. And hopefully I will get to see what her life has been like. She's been here to see what my life was like, but now I want to go into her world and see the roots that she's planted in DC. Plus, I've never been to DC, so it'll be a win-win for me, but this picture also is sentimental because that was one thing that I thought would never happen with her being a military wife. I thought that I would never be able to catch up with her and be able to rekindle the friendship to the way it used to be. We talk on the phone all the time now, and the only thing that's really, on the agenda is for me to make that trip to DC to see her. So if you have a best friend, and you may have moments where you guys are fighting, and me and Erica, we had our moments, you two black women, there's no way in the world you're not going to have moments where you fight and argue and disagree. But when you've walked through the fire with somebody, I don't care how mad you may get at them, they'll always be a part of you. And that's what me and her, we know that we'll always be a part of each other. We have history. We've been best friends since we were little girls. And now I'm 54. She's 3 years younger than me, and our lives are going in different paths, but our paths still lead back to each other. So I'm grateful for her. I thank God for her. She has been a true blessing in my life. I learned a lot from her, but to my surprise, she told me that she learned a lot from me. And a lot of times you tend to focus in on how other people affect your life, but you don't tend to think that you affect theirs. So I'm just grateful for the friendship, and I just wanted to kind of share with y'all a little bit about me and my best friend. I'll be doing another video soon. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing these old school videos where you won't be seeing my face, you'll be seeing a little bit of peek into my life. I don't mind sharing, experiences and people in my life that have made a difference. I will never share anything that is going to hurt someone, that I care about. So I'm very particular about what I do share. But I thank you for hanging out and having a peek into the best friend that I've ever had in my whole life. My friend Erica. And so with that being said, just be on the lookout for my next video. And until the next time,